Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to The It Factor, blessing the airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
the biggest show in the world. The SBTV Nation.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is the 15th of May. We are here. We are live. It's a brand new week. It's Monday, and I'm welcoming back my boy, The Dream. Kid, what's up?
Hey, what's going
how
on,
you doing?
SBTV Nation? Street is back in the house. Woo! It's been a minute.
How was your weekend, brother?
It's been a minute. It's been a minute, gang. Let's see, where do we begin? I think we should start with I'm officially divorced.
Okay, congratulations. Is it 100% final?
It's 100% I'm officially divorced. I'm also officially ruined.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so The Dream, any kind of donations, anything you'd like to give, 25 cents a quarter, whatever you'd like to send my way, The Dream is accepting any and all donations as they murdered your boy. Worse than any book
Wow.
or any sports wager loss ever made. This was definitely devastating. But the one thing that will that will go forward is I'm going to continue to be me. I'm going to continue to be upbeat. I'm going to keep my head up, and I will work my way through this thing no matter what.
Will. Absolutely, Dream. That's what Yeah, I know you got a really thick skin, man. You can make it work. You'll be fine. You'll be just fine, brother.
This definitely is the most trying thing that I've ever gone through in my whole life. You talk about a situation where you think you know some of the people involved, and you've done things throughout your lifetime and spent a lot of significant time with them. And one thing about money, when money gets involved, a lot of people change the game. Not only that, the legal system that's in place right now, I mean, it is what it is, but it stinks. It absolutely stinks. It was absolutely very biased, especially towards me. I think it's very biased, especially towards males. I don't think it's fair. I do understand, where some of it comes from, and a lot of it goes back to a time period when, men made a lot more money than women. That's not the case any longer, even though I know I hear people screaming about it. It's just not the case any longer. And that's it. We'll move on. I don't want to keep it on a negative note because I want to move on. Let's get into some positive stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, Dream. Well, you know what? The San Antonio Spurs fought yesterday. And you know what? They did have the lead for quite a bit in that game and ended up losing to the Warriors by 2 points yesterday.
Well, the Spurs game, it's interesting you bring the game up. I didn't want to actually start there, but I'm glad because we were going to get there. First of all, great game by the Spurs.
Yeah, right.
Okay? Going into this series, I honestly felt that the Spurs didn't have a whole lot of chance. You give them the experience and you give them the great edge with the coach of Greg Popovich. But when you look talent-wise, just at the talent that the Golden State Warriors have, in comparison with what San Antonio has, in my opinion, I didn't really give San Antonio a fighter's chance. I thought, yeah, sure, they had a chance, but first of all, I didn't think they had a chance in Golden State, especially game one.
Right.
Okay. And secondly, I didn't think they had a chance in general. I thought that, Golden State's a more athletic team. They're going to run a little bit more. They're a little bit faster. They're definitely a little bit younger, it seems. And I just felt that all those things, would work in their favor. I also thought that the rest would be a nice factor for them, that they would come out sharp, which I happen to think now, the rest actually, in the layoff, I think it screwed up their rhythm, and I think we saw a lot of rust in the beginning periods of that game.
Yeah.
Popovich says and goes ham about the Kawhi Leonard injury. I don't think it was. I mean, I didn't see it. I didn't see the intent there. I saw a guy challenging the shot. I saw Leonard come down on his foot. I didn't see the intent. Pop went kind of ham, and I think it's just a situation of, you put a microphone in front of people's mouths, and including me, because I'm guilty of saying some stupid things on the air myself. But you put a mic in front of people, and eventually you're gonna get something dumb out of their mouths. And unfortunately, I happen to love Greg Popovich, but his little manslaughter tirade he went about somebody texting and manslaughter, I thought that was a little bit over the top.
Well, dude, they were up by 20 points at the half, Dream.
20.
Wow. Unbelievable, and ended up losing the game. And you know what? When you get the Golden State Warriors in those situations, it's probably apropos to put a live bet in, because I've seen them come back several times this year. But I'm talking being down 20 on top of it.
Well, the thing with me with that particular game, I was actually, I liked Golden State to win the game. But what was surprising to me was that Steph Curry actually kind of single-handedly took that game over.
Sure, 40 points.
Steph Curry, and I am surprised that San Antonio could not find a way to more adequately defend Steph Curry, because I saw Steph Curry doing things in this game, that I can't believe San Antonio allowed to happen, because it looked like small coaching changes that I know Popovich is capable of making should have shut a lot of that down. And, we've seen Steph Curry in playoff situations not have that type of success. Now, I know he was red hot and on fire. I get that. But there were a couple of spots in situations here where guys backed off of him, guys didn't get on him, the wrong people were defending him, that I felt was kind of crazy.
Definitely. And you know what? Right now the series is Golden State minus 2750, Dream, to win the series.
Yeah, and I would say that I would expect game 2. See, San Antonio, to me, they ruined a great opportunity. And I know they lost Leonard, but they ruined a great opportunity to steal that game 1 in this series, because I would say game 2, I would expect the rest of Golden State to really get involved in this series now. As far as the other players, I expect to see a lot more of Kevin Durant. I expect to see a lot more of Klay Thompson involved. I expect Draymond to be that much more of a beast. I expect them to make a few small adjustments and changes as far as, their rebounding is concerned. I would be very surprised if game 2 was as competitive as game 1 was.
Oh, I agree. I think, and Golden State's given 13.5 in game 2. Wow.
That seems right on target, and I wouldn't be surprised if they covered much of that. I actually wouldn't be surprised either if they blew San Antonio out, to be honest with you. I felt like a lot of their other players were not involved. I also think Kevin Durant, I'm noticing, and I said this at the beginning of the season, him fitting in that offense still seems to be slightly problematic. It just doesn't look fluid. He just seems like out of place, like not as comfortable, especially as he was with OKC. Now, I know he played in OKC a lot of years, only been playing with Golden State this year, but where he's lining up at is not where Kevin Durant usually shoots the three-point shot at, as I remember him in the Oklahoma City days.
Got it. Well,
he's on the opposite side of Steph Curry. Now, Steph, I know, shoots the three all over the court. Yep. Okay? So my thing is, why don't you give KD his spot back? I believe Kevin Durant usually likes being at the top of the key, the three-point spot at the top of the key. Give KD his spot back. Let him shoot the ball from there. That's his spot. That's where he shoots that three. Kind of like right off center, maybe to the right a little bit of the three-point line at the top of the key. That's generally his spot where he's money. I noticed he wasn't lining up there very much yesterday, and I think that could be problematic. Also seen him a little bit in the post more than we're used to seeing him. KD is not a post-up guy. That's not what he does.
No.
I know that it will be successful if he plays that way with this team because of their outside shooting prowess and because of his size, but it's just not something he does.
Yeah, man. Definitely not. He's definitely a very athletic big man, that's for sure. So, you know what? Being out there and taking the shots and stuff like that, you want him in that element. Big time. Dream, one thing I do have to say, and
Yes.
this is something that's absolutely mind-boggling. We could really have a situation, which is looking like it's going to happen. We have Mike Biscuit versus Ty Lue. I want you to think about that for a minute. Mike Brown versus Ty Lue. Wow. What I mean, 2 years ago, if you had to take a wager on those two coaches facing each other, what would it have been? $1 million to 1?
Well, I think, and in there, I think we need to discuss too, whatever's wrong with Steve Kerr, it appears to be of a significantly serious nature.
Yeah, I mean, it's the NBA playoffs.
Which I don't think has gotten much attention, but Steve Kerr, there's something wrong with him, like really, really wrong with him. You know what I mean?
I thought he had a back issue. Is that what it is?
Well, it's apparently a back issue. I'm not sure if that's the same injury he's been dealing with, but whatever is wrong with him is, it's taken kind of a back seat and kind of been kind of snubbed off a little bit, I think. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a bigger of a deal than the media has actually made of it because Steve Kerr's it seems like he's in some bad shape.
Well, he actually attended the practice a couple days ago, so that's number one. Then I guess he gave a speech during the tough first half that they had, and it obviously worked. So he's been around.
Well, I seen him. I mean, he was there in a locker room, pregame, and then, like you said, he gave him the talk, at the half. But just the fact that this guy, in the state that he's in right now, I would not be surprised in the offseason if Steve Kerr maybe called it quits and just said, I gotta get healthy. I gotta spend this time with my family, and I gotta relax because I think whatever he's dealing with is of a very serious nature, and it may end his coaching career.
I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, once you get used to that, it's tough to let it go.
It is tough to let it go, but I think, that being said, look at how much time he's had to really lose to deal with his situation.
Yeah,
so it may be, hey, listen, because the guy's won on a high level, obviously played with the Bulls, had a lot of success, had success at coaching, he's gotten his ring already as coaching. Dude, when you get that kind of those kinds of injuries, and it's affecting you that you can't really do your job at the level that you need to do it, and you have all that success that you've already had, maybe it's time to call it quits and go home and, hang out with the kids and do what you got to do at home. I don't know what his situation is as far as his kids are concerned or what type of ages they are, but it's just a thought that runs through my mind as watching him.
Got it. All right, well, so that's the West.
So, wait, before we dip off the West, I want to take us back a little bit because I know that I haven't been on to have a talk with you about, because the last week you were telling me how you thought that Houston could beat San Antonio.
I knew you had to go there. I did. Listen, if they got Game 5, I think that series changes. I think Game 5 was it, Dream. They had their shot. They could have won in San Antonio and brought it home with all the momentum. Game 5, the overtime loss, I believe that's what got them. They were that close.
One man versus a team, I'm going to take my chances with the team every time.
Yeah.
Unless it's MJ.
Yeah, right. Or your boy LeVar Ball. How about him?
Unless it's MJ, I'm going to take my chance with the team all along. Nice try by the Houston Rockets, but it was apparent to me, San Antonio made some changes. They got snook Game 1. They made their changes, and they were very, and it all came to fruition in the end. But nice opportunity, nice try by the Houston Rockets.
All right. Well, I don't know. I still say Game 5. If they were able to sneak that one, you're up 3-2 going to Houston. Then it all changed. But so
I saw.
Go ahead.
I saw it. I see what you're saying. I get it.
Just the thing is that when they lost Game 5, then they went home for Game 6, and they're probably in their brain was, even if we win Game 6, we're going to have to play Game 7 in San Antonio. I don't know. I just felt like Game 5 was the dagger. It really was.
but you're supposed to. But technically, you're supposed to lose Game 5.
Yep, I understand.
You're supposed to lose Game 5. You come home, you win Game 6, and now you go out and you try to get Game 7. I mean, technically, that's how it's supposed to work. But to lose Game 5 and then go ahead and lose Game 6, to me, I just Pop. Did Pop get you? Did you take San Antonio for this? Did you take Houston for the series?
I actually didn't get the bet in, surprisingly, so I didn't.
Yeah,
do
Pop's been the all-time hat dagger.
He sure has, dude. Well, you know what? Hey, it is what it is. But clearly, I got Golden State in this next round here. Obviously, going, playing Cleveland, which we need to have a conversation about, Dream. So, meanwhile, while the Boston Celtics and the Washington Wizards are playing and killing each other back and forth here.
I don't know about killing each other because nobody's playing defense.
Yeah, nobody's playing defense, but we're on the 8th day off for the Cleveland Cavs now.
Which is perfect for them. The Cavs need the time off. I think that works to their favor. I don't think you'll see any of the rust like you've seen with Golden State because the Cavs are not a rhythm offense like Golden State is. The Cavs are herky-jerky kind of. And not even that it's about rhythm. Like, do you really think either of these two teams, well, we know Boston matches up, just does not match up at all against the Cavs.
Right.
And Washington, geez, dude, you watch Washington at times, and it's hard to understand how they even got this far.
Mm-hmm. John Wall, baby.
And John Wall is dope. I'll give you that. But John Wall's dopeness, though, it could be non-existent for a whole 2 quarters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can't afford. You go into Cleveland and don't play 2 quarters or have 2 quarters of 0 points, dude, they're going to be up by 30.
You got Gortat down low, Dream. He could take care of business down there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
John Wall, and John Wall's incredible. I mean, he's awesome. He's definitely an incredible athlete. I'm still kind of angry, though, that he wasn't all that when he was in Kentucky, but that's a whole other story. Yeah. But, great for this team. But to me, it's not about Wall. It's about the other guys that I don't know. This team, the defense is just bad. They don't rotate well. Other teams, you watch them with one superstar, OKC and even Houston. At least their guys are a little bit more involved, in their roles on those teams. This Washington, at times, I see guys not even running the court.
Yeah, they do seem out of the rhythm at times, man. I don't know. You know what? They just don't do it for me. I think, honestly, that they would be a better series with Cleveland than Boston, though. Call me crazy, but
I don't think either one of them is going to be a good series.
No,
I don't think either one. Like we said, Atlanta or Indiana were the better teams to play Cleveland. Boston and Washington and even Toronto, those teams just don't match up well against the Cavs.
Right. So now, they're probably going to be playing 2 days from now? What's that bring you all the way to Wednesday? Probably Wednesday or Thursday. Man, that's a long time off. So they're probably sitting there watching each and every one of these games night in and night out, I would imagine, right?
Well, they need to watch the Golden State games.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about watching Boston and Washington.
Yeah, right.
Watch Golden State. If they can figure out a way to keep KD trying to play post and keep him over to the side off that offside, because the 3-pointers they're not falling for him over there. That's definitely going to work towards their favor. San Antonio though is blueprinting. If you watched yesterday, there was a lot of blueprint that San Antonio put out that was effective against this Golden State team. So be advised, you know that Cleveland and at least LeBron is definitely watching. The other guys are probably out smoking weed at the strip clubs. But LeBron and maybe Ty Lue are watching film, and they're watching this Golden State team very, very, very carefully. And they're watching what San Antonio is doing, and they're learning lessons that Popovich is teaching them on what they're going to need to do to try to beat Golden State.
Right on. Got it. So, well, that puts us at tonight because we have Game 7 of the NBA play. Now, do you want to get into tonight's stuff, or do you want to move around a little bit before you do that? It's up to you.
Move around a little bit. We'll save we'll save the best for last. We'll get into it the last 15 minutes. I did want to discuss a little bit. First of all, I want to move it over to NFL.
Got it.
The first thing I want to say, and you guys have heard this from me several times, okay? You heard it way before the kneeling started. You heard it way before any of the other nonsense behind the scenes is going on. The guy who used to be the San Francisco's 49er quarterback stinks, okay? And aside from stinking, made a mockery of the United States over the last 16 games that they played this year. And that helped put more nails in the coffin for him not playing football anymore. And me personally, don't feel bad. Don't think it's personal, but it is, you're not a talented quarterback. You're not successful in the NFL. Other guys who stink don't get to play, so you're no different. And what was even worse was you did the whole kneeling thing during the national anthem, which wasn't the right platform, in my opinion, to do that. And nobody is as mad and angry at the legal system in this country than me, based on what I just went through, by the way. Yep. And still, I would still stand for the national anthem. So I'm not feeling them. And I wish he would just go away. And I hate that other people are gravitating around and making it a bigger issue than it really is and trying to throw race into the mix. I don't think that has anything to do with it personally. My personal opinion, it doesn't. My personal opinion is he stinks. He would not be a quarterback in the NFL. And even if he was standing for it, he still wouldn't be a quarterback and be picked up by any team in the NFL this year. He's not a good quarterback.
Right on. Talking about Colin Kaepernick. And he's probably going to be a backup quarterback somewhere.
Well, they're trying to. I don't think he should even be that, but they're trying to say that he's going to go to. They're saying that Seattle is looking at him. I don't know why Seattle would get involved with him. I don't know. I don't know why any NFL team would get involved with him personally. He's not a good quarterback.
Pete Carroll said Kaepernick and R.G. Thrizzle are among
options.
Why don't you get Tebow in the mix too? Why not?
He's playing baseball.
Oh, right on. So, anyway, hey, we'll see where he lands, Dream. I don't know.
Do you realize that Cam Newton was Tebow's backup?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. So, looking at the rest of it here, Dream, Eddie Lacy weighs in at 253, so he makes a bonus because he lost weight.
Isn't that awesome that they had to give him a bonus to get him to lose weight?
Yeah, because he was looking huge as hell, man.
Well, I can tell you what, if they want to get him another way to lose weight, get him a divorce. I lost about 10 pounds in about 4 days.
Right on, dude.
I'm looking lean as hell right now, player.
Nice. Good stuff, kid.
Other news in the NFL, I did want to discuss this for a second. Aaron Hernandez's death.
Yes.
Fiance's on Dr. Phil. No, she had to get paid to be doing it on Dr. Phil, by the way. Let's just throw that out there.
Yep. Okay.
For Fiance's on Dr. Phil talking about that she doesn't think that it was a suicide. And I'm not sure whether it was suicide or not. The one thing I am going to tell you, though, having a lot of experience as far as a prison is concerned, I don't know how Aaron Hernandez was allotted the time it took for him to kill himself without someone noticing it. Believe me when I tell you, Aaron Hernandez was not in a regular population like the rest of the other inmates are. He was most likely in a specialized unit. I don't know this for a fact, but I do have some background with corrections. He was in a specialized unit that most likely had 15-minute watch by the personnel that ran it. Him being allotted enough time to kill himself and hang himself. Now, of course, where's a will, there's a way, for sure. But there's still some questions there as how he had enough time to kill himself without the staff knowing and finding out. That's still that's a sore spot and a very questionable issue for me personally. Just knowing how the workings of that system work, there's no way he should have been allotted that. And a person of his level, now 3 years from now, yeah, he could get away with it. But right now, he's just too new into the system for him to have been allotted that time without some eyes on him.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, well, could he like set everything up like right after they look at him? You know what I'm saying? Give himself 15 minutes.
It would have to be such a perfect rush job setup, you know. And I mean, yeah, of course you could, sure, because it's 15 minutes. But I'll tell you, the chances of it, dude, is just it's tough, man. It's really, really tough because when you rush, you make noise. Okay? So if you're making noise, the minute he jumps off of whatever it is that falls and it clanks or dings, man, you're gonna keep track of this because it's somebody else's livelihood. You know, I can't tell you all that goes on behind the scenes. As far as the Department of Corrections, the officers that were involved, the people who were watching after, them cats' jobs are on the line now. They don't want to lose their jobs behind no Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah, right.
They're all on administrative leave. They're getting investigated. All their stuff's getting under wrap. They're got stomach aches right now themselves. So that's why part of this is very bizarre to me, and I'm still interested in hearing the eventual outcome that's released from the Massachusetts Department of Corrections in regards to what happened with him.
What do you think? You think it could have? I mean, wouldn't you make even more noise if somebody was going after him?
I don't. You know, I don't know. I just don't. Like I said, I just knowing the way it works. There's not a lot of answers I can get here because people's livelihoods and jobs were on the line. It almost makes me think that there maybe had to be some outside element involved helping to assist this. I mean, guys, strictly speculative. It's strictly my opinion. Okay. So I don't know anything any more than anyone else. But I'm just telling you, knowing how it works, if this was getting done like it got done, it looks like some other people were involved in this to let this thing happen.
Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying. That makes sense now. You know what you just said. So, I don't know, man. It's crazy. What else is on your brain? You got any more NFL?
That's it. NBA lottery tomorrow night. That's a big deal.
Dude, talk to me about the Pittsburgh Penguins. I want to hear about the NHL.
Pittsburgh Penguins. Okay, I will talk to you about the Penguins because everybody's all of a sudden nervous with the Penguins. But don't be nervous because the Penguins were supposed to lose game one. They were on the road. They were supposed to lose game one. Ottawa has home ice. Penguins lose game one in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Here's game two tonight. I expect you to see and by the way, it was an overtime loss that Ottawa beat them in their last game before we go crazy. So the Penguins were right there. Blue won very bad power play, 5-on-3, and could not score. That was a bad look on their part. I don't know what happened there, but that was a very bad. That was not a good look at all. I would expect some differences in tonight's game. You guys know I got the Pittsburgh Penguins to win the whole thing, to repeat, and I'm still right there with them. I'm not nervous for them, and I'm not really worried about the situation. I believe that their players are going to step up. Crosby talked about his inability to keep the puck there. Malkin did score. I believe the Penguins are going to be just fine, and I think they're going to get through this series. Ottawa's not a slouch team. You know, they play good hockey as well. They got good play out of their goalie. They stepped up. But I think you're going to see a little bit difference in a pressure situation tonight from this Penguin team. The Penguins are going to look to want to swing the pendulum back their way. I think you're going to get a little bit more intensity out of them. And I think you're going to see, more spirit out of that team. I like the Penguins' chances.
Well, even with the loss, they're the number one favorite right now to win the whole thing at 9-5 odds. So I mean, it's basically just under 2-1, for them to repeat here, Dream. But
yes.
I don't know. I mean, they're minus 200 tonight, so it's a lot of juice.
Yeah, it is a lot of juice. I would be very surprised because, as far as I'm concerned, I'd be very surprised. I'd be surprised if the Penguins lost tonight. Based on what they talked about over the last couple of days and what's been reported, as far as they looked over the film, they saw some of the mistakes that they made, what they weren't capable of doing, what they are capable of doing, and just a lot of, like I said, dude, Ottawa stopped, I want to say 5 power plays. That's like ridiculous.
That's nuts.
It's nuts. Dude, you want to give them 5 power plays, and one of them was a 5-on-3 hat. That's like, it just doesn't happen. They said that, the Penguins were looking more for the perfect shot as opposed to taking shots.
Yep.
So I expect them to throw all that, to the wind, get back to shooting shots.
Yeah, I like that instead. That's such a
so
better
do I.
game plan, I feel, in the NHL anyway. Just keep going. Bang, bang. Because the thing is, I mean, you shoot the puck, it could bounce anywhere. Do anything.
Anywhere.
You know what I'm saying? It could hit a skate, hit a helmet, ricochet somewhere and go in. So
Anywhere.
I'm with you in that. All right, so anyway, they're down. And then you got the Nashville Predators that are doing their thing here, Dream.
Nashville Preds. Now, I know there's been some talk. I've seen a few people on Twitter talking about the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. I was very surprised that the Ducks did get past the Edmonton Oilers. I thought Edmonton would beat the Ducks. I was surprised that the Ducks did get by Edmonton. Nice job by them. And now here comes Nashville. Nashville wins game 1, so that's an impressive win for them. They were able to win the first game, in Anaheim's house. So Nashville has the series, where they won it as far as in their favor right now. You're looking, the Ducks end up, winning game 2, but it's still in Nashville's favor right now. So it'll be interesting to see the next game. This Nashville team's got so much momentum though going into this thing. I'm going to be really surprised if I didn't expect the Ducks to get this far, but nor did I expect Nashville to get this far either. But I really didn't expect the Ducks to get this far. And Nashville, with the momentum that they've had and the way they've been playing, I don't know that the Ducks can get past them. I do know that the Ducks won the last game, and that was impressive. But Nashville brings you home. In the next game, they bring you home for the next 2. Mm-hmm. I expect them to get it done in the next 2. I think that it will go back to Anaheim. We'll give Anaheim a game there, and then Nashville finishes it out.
All right. Well, they definitely stole home ice advantage. That's for sure. Once you catch once you catch the 1 of 2, that's all you need.
That's it. That's all you need.
Now you're 3-2 home ice versus the opponent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
right.
It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, all right, man. I think it's about that time, Dream.
No doubt.
I think we need to get into the NBA and the playoffs right now. So
okay.
You got both teams. This is Game 7. This is it. This is the opportunity to get your ass kicked by Cleveland. We got the Washington Wizards versus the Boston Celtics. And the Celtics are -5 this evening. Dream, where you at here? You think the Celtics close it out? I do.
I think the Celtics close it out.
Yeah,
but
I do.
I can't bet on them.
No?
I can't do it because I just don't. The Celtics offensively, if Isaiah Thomas cannot get going, can't really, be the scoring factor that he is, they could lose.
Right.
They could lose. What's the over and under in this game you have?
211.5.
I like the under.
You like the under, huh? Think it's
I
going to be a
do.
little bit more slow. I think the Celtics win by double digits tonight, bro. I think I may get involved with them -8 at plus 150.
You know, the thing for me is John Wall. You know how I always feel. I always feel I want to go with the team with the most talented players.
Yep.
Okay. To me, John Wall is the most talented player on the court. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I think that Isaiah Thomas and Bradley Beal are actually even. So I give two of the most talented players on the court. I put them both on the Warriors. I mean, not the Warriors. Excuse me. I put them both on the Wizards.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's why I struggle with trying to take the Celtics, because if you get an off night by the Celtics, which we know the Celtics are capable of,
Yeah. Yeah.
they
are.
lose.
Yeah.
If you get,
Yeah, and the rebounding, I just think
Yeah.
is a problem. I really do. You know, so I don't know. I'm gonna do it -8 points plus 150. That's where I'm at, because I think they'll win by double digits. I think they'll win by 9 or 10. I'll be stomach aching in it, but you know what? Hey, it is what it is. Plus 150. I like those plays, so that's where I'm at, Dream. And
Okay.
the winner of this gets to play Cleveland. And when does that start? I mean, is that 2 days from now? 3 days from now?
you
When would
keep
that be?
saying that.
I think it is. I think it'll be today's Monday. I think it'll be Thursday night.
I think it's Thursday night as well.
Guys, if you have that information, let us know. But that's going to give Cleveland like a week and a half off. All right, so I'm -8, and you're undecided.
No, I am decided. I like the under.
You like the under, okay. All right, so let's go over to the hockey game.
Dude, they got that game Friday night.
Friday night,
Friday night.
a lot of time off. It's almost 2 weeks off, man. Nuts. All right. So, are you interested in taking the Pittsburgh Penguins this evening, Dream?
I'm not interested in taking the Pittsburgh Penguins this evening.
No, why not?
It's too heavy. It's -200. It's too heavy. I already have them to win the series, so I'd rather just sit back. This is not a wagerable game. But I would love to. I will absolutely love the Pittsburgh Penguins in the next game.
All right. Well, you know what? If just out of curiosity, if you felt like they were going to shoot a lot of shots tonight and win by a good margin, if you get it down to -1, it's only -125. So that's a
No, I'm sorry. I had to take that back. I got to correct something. Eastern Conference, it says that it says Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay.
Game 1 will be Wednesday. Eastern Finals.
All right. Sounds good. Pittsburgh -1, -125. That might be a pretty good bet.
Pittsburgh -1, -125 would not be a bad wager.
Not a bad wager at all. All right. So moving on here, guys, we're going to talk about the Major League Baseball card here. Just so you know, right now the Cleveland Indians are going bananas on the Rays. They've already scored 5 runs in the bottom of the first inning. It's 5-1 Cleveland right now, Dream, first inning. So if you got that over, you guys are in very, very good shape. I don't know what the total was in that game. I want to say it was, give me a second. What was the total in that game? 7.5. So you're 2 runs away from it in the first inning. Not bad.
They still playing baseball?
Still playing baseball, baby. And you know what? Out of talking with the nation, a couple of days by myself, and then doing this with the Evil Genius on Saturday, we've come to the foregone conclusion that run lines are more profitable, betting run lines, than money lines, because what you're doing is you're getting. Let's say you had just a straight money play and it was your +100. Well, the run line is +200 because it adds about $1 to it, and only 28% of the games are decided by 1 run, so it works out pretty well. It's all math. It's all math, brother. But looking at it here, because you know what'll happen. The first one you play, you'll win by 1. Be screaming.
Well, listen, you know me. Some things don't. I've been open to a lot of things and learned a lot of things over the course of us doing this program and getting down with the nation. You guys are not going to sway me on money lines. right? Because I've always loved money line. I do money lines in football, so I'm not going to start giving out spreads in baseball and hockey now.
I completely understand, but it works out pretty well, Dream. So.
I got you. I don't. And you know me. I have flirted with the one, especially in hockey. I have done the 1 in hockey. Baseball, I don't mind the 1. I'll never do the 1.5.
All right. Well, I already got the Cleveland Indians today minus the 1.5 for a very, very light play. All right, so going into the rest of it here, I can tell you this much, Dream, that Big Sexy has been brutal for the Braves.
Yeah.
1-4.
The Braves been brutal, period.
13-21 on the year. They're playing a equally as brutal Blue Jays team with Bolsinger on the bump. And, Atlanta has got Bartolo Colon on the mound today, 1-4 with a 7.22 ERA. This might be the decline here, Dream.
Could be the decline. It's finally kicking in. The weight is real heavy. 7.22 is disastrous.
Blue Jays might be a pretty good run line because they're starting to find their way back. That's something I might take a look at. Another thing, Dream, I don't know if you realize, but the Mets have gotten like an injury every single day.
So you know I'm doing the fantasy thing with Dr. Dizzle.
Yeah.
And I get offered like 5 to 6 trades a day from everybody in the league, which I'm like, I don't know why they keep on, because I haven't accepted not one of them. I even put a note in the message board, please stop sending me trades, because I don't even know enough about baseball to be getting involved in a trade, but I do know that this is way too early in the season to be trading as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Even though everybody else going ham with trades in there. So the other part of this is because I'm in that, I do know what's going on with the Mets, and I actually know what's going on with a bunch of teams in baseball right now. And yes, I am aware of the Mets and their injury proneness and what's going on with them. And I'm also aware that, didn't somebody say the Mets was going to go to the World Series this year?
Well, you can't forecast injuries, Dream. You know.
Yeah, no, I know, but you can you can forecast that nothing good is going to happen for the Mets.
Pretty much.
All right, that you can forecast.
They got to play in the desert tonight with Wheeler. They're bringing Wheeler to the desert. He's going to get rocked, I think, by Arizona.
Get rock and roll.
Oh man, they have no bullpen. They got nothing. I mean, it's Familia's gone too now. They're in big trouble here. They've been banged up, man. So Mets, it's probably gonna be a little while before you can start seeing some wins being.
Dude, and I got it. Being in the fantasy baseball thing too. The baseball injuries, my God, son.
What's the matter with it?
They're ridiculous, dude. Dude, the baseball. I swear, baseball season started when? Last month?
Yes.
Okay, a month into the season, all right, and you got all these guys up on the shelf with these injuries. Dude, it's got to be twice as bad as the NFL when it's a full contact sport. Baseball players, I'm sorry. These guys got to be like babies. These dudes could never play in the NFL.
Yeah,
they
right.
could never play a contact sport. Forget it. Baseball, for these guys to be this many players, well, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at tweet backs. The dude's doing, my hamstring doesn't feel good. I'm like, are you kidding? My fingernails? Dude. This is like, I look at the baseball injury report and just crack up. Guys going on the DL for stuff. I'm like, these dudes just don't want to play. They just don't want to play a full season. They just don't want to play.
Yep. Well, you know what? Hey, looking at the rest of it here, Dream, there's only a handful of games tonight. Not everybody's playing tonight, but
no.
I think the Jays might be a good bet. A possibility of, let's just take a look. I hate that Dodgers-Giants series. I always hate that because that goes either way. Your boy Big Pelf is on the bump tonight for the White Sox facing the Angels. Chavez
Big
is
Pelf.
pitching for them. Big Pelf, and that's
Dope this season, 0-3, working his way right out of Major League Baseball.
It's your boy. Yeah, you know what? I really don't have anything. I mean, the Jays is probably a good bet. Minus the 1.5. The only thing is with a home team, that's the problem. They only get 8 at bats if they're in the lead. They could be by 1. You know what I'm saying? That's why the road teams with the run line actually comes out a lot more because they get all 9 at bats. So that's something to think about. But I like that bet, and I think that's all I'm going to do tonight, Dream. That's it.
Well, it sounds good, man. I mean, like I said, I'm very vested into baseball now. I got my first win of the season this week. Finally beat Terrence Mack. Big shout outs to Terrence Mack, T-Mac, as I beat him this week.
Nice. Which
is my first one. And by the way, every team that I have played in the fantasy has scored their most points the week that they played me.
Of course, that's the way it goes.
I'm talking, there's been astronomical numbers, but I'm holding it down. It's somewhat enjoyable. It's been a pretty nice distraction in the middle of the chaos that I've been dealing with. But I am watching this baseball season. I am not feeling the injuries. I don't know what these guys' work ethic is. You guys want to tell me that these guys are getting this hurt playing baseball and they can't play? Whatever. Okay? I don't want to hear it, personally. I'm a football guy, so I'm struggling with this. Stuff. It's for some of the older guys, I can get it. If you're over 35 playing, I get some of it. You know, then I see Fat Big Sexy, he's still pitching.
Yeah, right. Giving it another go round tonight.
He's still pitching over 300 pounds and 45 or whatever age he is, still going at it. So I got to question other guys who are brand new and young. I don't know. The baseball work ethic, I don't know, guys. I'm struggling with it.
All right. Well, I can tell you this much, that I do not feel that the Chicago Cubs will repeat. I don't see it happening. And they're the odds-on favorite right now to win the whole thing at 5.
Well, who are you feeling right now? Because I don't know. Who do you feel in baseball right now?
Right now, it's a mess. I mean, the Colorado Rockies are like up there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, Dream. I still like the Jays. I think the Jays will turn it around, put it together.
I'm a little bit impressed with Houston.
Houston, okay, 6-1.
I'm a little impressed with Houston. They've gotten their road woes. Looks like they gotten that taken care of. 12-6 on the road this season thus far. So I have been a little bit impressed with them and what they've been able to accomplish. Do you trust the Dodgers?
No.
Yeah, I'm there too.
Jones.
Sorry, Rick Lopez. I know Rick Lopez was probably just crashed when you heard me say that.
Hey, big ups to my man Jonesy asking about the Arizona for a series play. That's probably a good one versus the Mets, considering the fact that the Mets have lost 4 in a row now. And
yeah, Arizona for a series play is probably solid.
Yeah, it is. It is, definitely.
I'm looking at the Yankees winning, and I'm still scratching my head there.
Yep, of course.
Do you understand that?
They're hitting it. They're killing the baseball, Dream.
Okay.
I mean, they are just putting up runs after runs after runs. They've already scored 200 runs this year. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So it's good. I mean, there's only 2 other teams that have scored over 200, being the Brewers and the Nationals.
Who's dope? Who's pitching wise? Who's dope right now?
Oh well, it's the Red Sox. I mean, they got my boy Chris Sale has been lights out. If they make a trade and get another bat, I think the Red Sox are still the powerhouse. Like it or not, that's who is the powerhouse right now, as far as I'm concerned. And I think that taking a look at it, you might be able to see the Nationals get in there.
Well, the Nationals got that. They did the same thing last year. They looked very good regular season. And then, I don't know, just kind of tanked. And there's something about them, too, that you don't, I don't trust.
They're hanging out with the Capitals too much.
Hanging out with the Capitals too much. I see, though, no matter what you do, you can't shake the St. Louis Cardinals.
Nope. Never. That organization is incredible, man. 8-2 in their last 10 games as well. Outstanding.
No matter what you do, you cannot shake the St. Louis Cardinals.
I love the Cubs are 1 game under 500. Love that. So, all right, man. So I think that's going to do it for us, Dream, unless you got anything else.
Hey, I got nothing else. I just want to tell, I've gotten a plethora of DMs from a lot of people. Guys, like I said, I've been going through it, and I'm still dealing with some of the aftermath of a lot of this stuff and figuring some things out. I've had to take a break. I've also taken a little bit of a break from the sports and from the gambling as well. So I'm there, but I'm not there. I'm cognizant, but I'm not cognitive. I thank everybody that's given me the support. A lot of people have given me shout-outs, said they missed me on the show. I appreciate it all. I'll be back. I'm back as far as on the show is concerned. But I'm myself, but I'm not 100% still the Dream. In case you guys haven't figured it out, I'm still there, but I'm not 100%. It'll probably take me a couple of minutes to rebound from this, but I'll be back. I'm back. We got some things going on, some things to discuss. I did want to plug this one thing. For those of you, I'm going off topic. I'm going out of the sports world. For those of you that like Kung Fu Joe type things, karate type flicks, because I love karate. I go back way back when I was a kid watching that, the old guy with the masters with those long beards, and they were, speaking in Chinese and dubbing the voices with the lips moving and all that. If you're into that stuff, and I know some of you guys out there relate to what I'm saying, there's a show on AMC called Into the Badlands. I don't know if you guys have watched it. If you guys watched it, when I just said it, probably everybody just got to put a big smile on their face. But this show, they ran a couple of episodes and then they shut it down. And I was like ticked that they shut it down. And I don't watch miniseries. I don't get into that because I hate being stuck to them every week. But I started watching this one. I thought it was pretty good. It had a great storyline. Anyway, they shut it down, but then they brought it back. And now they brought it back. And the season finale is this Sunday, but they're going to run a marathon for all the episodes starting at like 1 o'clock on AMC. I don't know if you guys are into it. If you like Kung Fu type stuff, show's pretty good. Really pretty good. Great storyline, great character build. I'm plugging it because I liked it. You guys might like it too. So that's the plug that the Dream's throwing out there for you.
Sounds good, brother. Sounds good. So, all right, man. What do you got to do to close out of here?
Hey, I want to thank everybody that's retweeted. I don't have it pulled up, so I can't send you the names. Just off the top of my head, I want to thank, I know Terrence Mack is out there. I know we got Cash Action Bets, Vegas Girl 92661, my man Urban, the old faithful guys. Rick Lopez is in the house as well. Joseph Del Rosario, send a big shout out to him. Mr. Charlie over at Direct Sports Solution. They always, sending us our love. Jeff Ryan, so many more of you guys. I thank everybody that send me love. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be back, and I should be back, steadily as well. We'll see you back again Thursday. Tonight, I am on the under 211.5 in the Boston game. I don't believe I don't see it being high scoring. I don't know why. I just don't see it being high scoring. I see them both being a little bit tight, both being a little bit pensive, and I don't see a lot of scoring. So I'm on the 211.5. I got the Pittsburgh Penguins to win the whole thing, so I'm not going to get involved with that particular play tonight. That's what I'm on. Good luck and God bless.
All right, sounds good, guys. So we'll be back on Thursday night, and we'll be talking about NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and Major League Baseball, obviously. And, yes.
Always remember who you're with. And, guys, even though I'm in a bad situation, still making the most of each and every day, because I can't get this time back.
Yeah, right on, Dream. All right, well, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And thank you to everybody in the nation for listening to us each and every time we're on. We'll be back on Thursday. Have a great week. Go grab the world by the balls and get that money. Let's go.
Peace.